private equity is now doing this all over the country to franchise owners. It's kind of the last frontier for private equity of destroying small business in this country.
Correct. In the last 5 years, private equity acquisition of franchises have doubled and tripled each year, year over year. The independently owned small business owners have no way to defend themselves against these billion-dollar corporations that come in. One of the hardest things is that they're buying up these large swaths of industries in regions, right? There's a company called Champions Group right now in the Southwest is a really good example. You can look them up online. They've purchased dozens of HVAC companies that were family owned for 4 decades, 5 decades, had great reputations in their community and had large market shares in their community. 25, 30, 40 vans going out. And they bought all of them. And then they paid for the name, image, likeness of the former owners as part of the deal. And when you go to any of the websites for all of these HVAC companies, they all still say they're small businesses, locally owned and operated, things like, we serve our community because we're part of our community. But now they have unified software across all of them. And so no matter who you call for a quote on, let's say, a frozen line on your air conditioner, if the first one comes out and says $1,600, and you say, oh my gosh, that was only $400 the last time this happened. And they say, oh, COVID, supply issues, nobody's gonna say greedflation, right? They say, but if you want a second opinion, call one of them, see what they say. You have no idea that they're owned by the same company, same private equity firms, and the next guy comes out and says $1,580. And you say, I don't have that kind of money. They say, don't worry, we'll finance it for you. Because they bought the finance company too, that's fine.
How many franchisees are there in the United States?
They represent millions and millions and millions of employees. People don't realize small things are franchises. Little tiny coffee carts are franchises. And it's being consolidated by these private equity firms to squeeze out any mom and pops that could compete with the franchises. So it's restricting competition and it's setting prices across the spectrum of services, everything from home services to car services to insurance services to real estate brokerages, schools. There's one private equity firm right now that owns 37 brands of daycare centers, and the daycare costs have spiraled out of control in the United States, but they are killing it in revenue. Everybody's saying childcare is unaffordable. Their employees aren't being paid well, but those private equity firms, they are making money, lots of money. Our trust in mega corporations is something like 8 to 9%, but our trust in small businesses nationwide is between 65 and 81%. They saw that, they saw the writing on the wall, and they said, well, clearly that's what we've got to take next. We've got to convince everybody that's what we are. And they decided that they needed to invest in the things we cared about most. Because as long as we were emotionally tied to the cost, no matter how much they raised it, we would pay it. Veterinary care, children's pediatric care, daycare centers, children's services, funeral services, the things you'll pay for no matter what. That's what they turn their attention to, because you will take, and they said, even if you won't pay it, you'll take out the loan to pay it. And then they bought all the finance companies too. And here we are.